Devin, I've got some sentences that I'm going to ask you to copy. And after you copy them down, I'm going to explain to you what it is I want you to do with them. Here's sentence number 1. Aurelia Corneliam in hortum convocat. Aurelia Corneliam in hortum convocat. Period. Number 2. Puelli ankylos. Puelli ankylos laborantes in villa spectans. Number 3. Ankylam in agros. Ankylam in agros ex ira. Ex ira. By the way, ex ira means to go out. That can be confusing, so that's why I'm giving it to you. You bet. Domina. Number 4. Fabulam de viris. Fabulam de viris praeclaris poeta narrat poeta. Narrat poeta. And number 5. Let me squeeze my window on the machine a little bit so I can open the paper up for you. Number 5. Feminae Romanae. Feminae Romanae. Deas semper laudant. Deas semper laudant. Deos comes from the word dea, comma, ae. That's how you'll find that word deos in the dictionary to look like that. Feminine. We're getting there. Number 6. Magna turba puellas parvas. Magna turba puellas parvas terret. Terret. Number 7. Pistolam legit. Epistulam legit philia mea. Mea comes from the word meus, comma a, comma um. Number 8. We're getting there. Number 8. Aurelia multas epistolas scribere volt. Aurelia multas epistolas scribere volt. Number 9. Ankyli. Number 9. Ankyli kistas. Kistas portare non volunt. Kistas. Let me erase that. I'm going to throw that pencil on the floor. I don't ever want to see that pencil again. That eraser has done that to me one too many times. Ankyli kistas portare non volunt. To find Wolent, you have to look up V-O-L-O in the dictionary. To find Wolent, you have to look up Wolo in the dictionary in the back of your book. Hey, we're down to one more sentence. It takes longer to write them than it does to explain them. 10. Lupa. Lupa. Flaviam. Et. Cornelium. Terret. Okay, first, to get a translation for these sentences, you're going to have to know the vocabulary. Now, I think I've picked vocabulary that's in Ecce Romani. All right? So you look in the back of the red book at your dictionary at Ecce Romani, and that's where you can find the vocab. If you cannot find the vocab for a given word, get online and look at any online Latin dictionary, and I bet you can track down the words that you need. But again, I think I've restricted myself to vocabulary that's in your textbook. Now, Mr. Dart, you're thinking to yourself, what the heck do I do with these sentences? All right, here's what you're going to do. We got to find the subjects in these sentences. Here's how you find the subject. Let me start over. Back up, Mr. Dart. Most of these sentences have nouns in them that come from the first declension. We talked about this one night on Skype. A first declension noun looks like this. A noun of the first declension is going to have an A on the back of the first word in the dictionary. There's going to be a comma, a hyphen, and an AE. These two letters, A and AE, tell me I'm looking at, or these two symbols, A and AE, tell me I'm looking at a first declension noun. This is what a first declension noun looks like in the dictionary. If I want a first declension noun to function as a subject, if I want the word girl to be doing something in a sentence, I put A on the back of the word if it's a first declension noun and I want it to function as a subject. I put A on the back of it. If I want to make the subject plural, I put AE on the back of it. So one more time, if I want a first declension noun to function as a subject in the sentence, I put an A on the back of it or an AE. A is singular subject, AE is plural subject. The first thing I want you to do is go into the sentences and I want you to write S over the subjects. Well, let's take a look at number 1. Where's my subject? Gee, Mr. Darden, it's a mess. I don't know. Well, does anything in this sentence end in A or AE? Yeah, Aurelia. So I'm going to put subject over her name. Bam, there's my subject. Let's go find a plural subject with AE. Number 2, looking for A. Oh, back up, right there. AE, there's my subject. This one happens to be plural, though, because it has AE, so I'm going to write PL above it. Hey, Mr. Darden, do I have to have the subjects at the beginning of the sentence? Not in Latin, you don't, Devin. You can put the subjects at the back of the sentence if you want to. You just got to make sure they end in an A and an AE. All right, so go through the sentences and find the subjects and label them S. Now, if I want to find direct objects in this exercise, first declension nouns that are acting as a direct object don't have A or AE on the back. Instead, I'm going to write over here in the corner, if a first declension noun is functioning as a direct object or a DO, it's going to end in AM if it's singular, and it's going to end in AS if it's plural, and I'm running out of space, so I have to write the PL below the AS. What, Mr. Darden? What are you talking about? If you want to go find the direct objects in this exercise, you look for words that end in AM or AS. So, let's go find a direct object in number 1. A, no, already labeled subject, AM. Bingo, right there. Direct objects end in AM. So I'm going to write DO in caps above the word. Let's see if I can go find a plural direct object. Number 2. Bam, right there. Ankylos has an AS. AS is what I'm looking for, so I'm going to write DO. So now you go through these sentences and I want you to label all the direct objects. By the way, I just saw a mistake in number 3. Go to number 3 and erase that OS and write an IS. Oh gosh, Devin, I'm not thinking the OS was correct. I'm so sorry. OS. Leave it alone. My bad. It's the end of the day. Tired. Okay, now, you've labeled your subjects. You've labeled your direct objects. Now it's time to translate. What do? If a word in Latin is the subject, it stays at the front of your English sentence. So Aurelia is my subject, so I'm going to put her down right here as my first word in my English translation. The subject goes first, Aurelia. Mr. Dart, what the heck do I do with the direct object? Where does it go? You already know this. If it's a direct object, it goes to the back of the sentence. So now I'm going to translate sentence number 1. Aurelia calls or summons. Aurelia calls Cornelia where? Into the, think of horticulture. What do people in horticulture study? They study gardens and plants. Calls Cornelia into the garden. What would you do for number 2? Well, you'd keep the subject puelli at the front of the sentence and you'd move the direct object ankylos to the back of the sentence. Wherever your subject is, it goes in the front, and wherever your direct object is, wherever your subject is, let me start over. In the Latin sentence, wherever the Latin subject is, it's going to go first in your English translation. You move it up front. Subject goes up front, direct object goes in back. Subject goes in front, direct object goes in back. All right. You've got the sentences. The directions are to label the subjects. To do that, you're looking for A and AE. Those are my subjects. Subject singular, subject plural. To find the direct objects, you're looking for AM and AS. AM is direct object singular, AS is direct object plural. After you label the subjects and direct objects, you're going to translate. You have to remember to put the subject of the You have to remember to put the Latin subject when you identify it at the front of your English translation and put the direct object in your Latin sentence at the back of your English translation. If you do that, you will be successful, as no doubt you always are. Okay? So I'm just panning the sentences through the camera just in case anything got cut off when I wrote the sentences initially. I will tell you one last thing. For my own reasons, this is not a rule in the study of Latin, but I call first declension nouns. I'm going to go back up to the top. I give the color blue to first declension nouns. First declension nouns are my blue nouns. Nobody else does this that I know of. It's just me. You'll see later why I want to call first declension blue. I'm just assigning it that color. Okay, that's an AE right there. It's a little hard to read now, but that's an AE right there. Okay, I'm a perfectionist. I'm sorry. I got to keep writing on it. Hey, I think you'll get this exercise nicely. You write it down, you do the labeling, you do the translating, and we'll check it this weekend. Bye-bye.